Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, William and James. Good morning, Petra. Good morning. Hey, my love. Oh, I'm not. Oh, good morning, Zoe. Is Zoe? Good morning, Miss Horn. It is Zoe. I thought it was Zoe. Good morning, Zoe. Good morning. Good morning, Alex. Alexandra. Miss Horn, I miss you. Good morning, honey. How is Cyprus? Good morning, Athena. Good morning, Tyler. Buenos dias. Buenos dias. Good morning, Isabella and Anthony. Lovely. It's so lovely to see so many of you this morning. It's so nice. Good morning. I'm not sure, is it who's Belky? I can't remember your name. Can you remind me of your name? Good morning, Camille. Good to see you. Good morning, Charlotte and Emily, if you're watching. Good morning, Frankie, if you're watching. Just a quick reminder about those power projects. Remember, they're the normal projects that you would be set anyway during half term. So you don't have to do them all in one day. You can kind of spread them out over the 2 weeks. And I wanted to ask you, do you want me to give you like ideas of things that you could do, or would you rather we just do reading? You let me know. If you're in my school, the power projects should be, Miss said that she uploaded them to our blog. Have a look at our blog, Year 5 blog. Isabella. Good morning, Isabella. Good morning, Fatima. Just saw you on there. Morning, Tyler. Good morning, Bethany and Chloe. Probably Chloe watching for Key Stage 2. It's so nice that loads of you are joining me this morning. So you go onto the website, you look for year groups, and then it should be there. My goodness, Zoe, you've never looked at the blog. Good morning, Dominic. Where's Noemi? Where's Noemi? She's sleeping. Okay, super. So I can give you ideas. Lots of people are saying yes, please, yes, please. Good morning, Eleanor. Lots of people are saying yes, please. So I can give you ideas of things to do, but they're not strict tasks that you have to do because it is meant to be the holidays and I'm meant to be off duty. So I'm mainly doing these videos just for us to enjoy story time, okay? I'm not sure who that is, but good morning. Good morning, Gigi and Milo. Gigi, happy birthday. I hope you had a super birthday. And happy birthday, Sienna, for Friday. There's lots of birthday. Hallie's birthday was on Friday. Oh, she's making puppets. Okay. That's a cool idea. Maybe if you've got stuff at home, maybe some people can make puppets of the characters from our book. Okay, so we're going to start with a poem for today, and then we'll get on to reading the rest of the book, okay? I'm glad your birthday was super, Gigi. I can imagine you had a super duper day. Who's that? Alex, that's lovely. Good morning, Ava and Jack, superstars. Good to see you here. Seeing all these hellos are making me so happy, whether they're on Instagram or on YouTube. And I've done something new today. I have put the camera, I put my phone on top of my laptop. So I'm kind of looking at both of you at the same time. Getting better and better at this every day. Who is, sorry, I can't remember who Tessa is. Remind me, sorry. Lots of people. I have to remember your parents' names and then remember your name. So it's a little bit tricky. But I'm really glad that most of you are on your parents' accounts and not your own accounts, because remember, you need to be safe online, okay? Happy birthday, Eunice, for Sunday. Amelia, of course. Good morning, Amelia. Amelia, it's so lovely that you're here watching, superstar. Okay, so let's start with our poem for today, and this is from Poems to Perform by Julia Donaldson. Good morning, Finley. Nice to see you here. It was really sunny. It was really sunny on the weekend, and today, no sun. But to be honest, I think it's better that there's no sun because it means that silly people won't be in the park sunbathing, because we're not meant to be sunbathing. We're not meant to be outside spreading germs. We're meant to be inside taking one form of exercise a day outside. And it's a real shame that some people aren't following the guidelines because it's affecting all of us, isn't it? And that's my moan for Monday. That's moan over. Good morning, Casey. Oh, you had a barbecue yesterday. That's so cool. Do you know what? This is a normal Monday morning for me, actually, because usually, as Miss Lopez, when I'm in school, Monday mornings, we always talk about our weekends and we have a quick chat, and I love a chat. If anyone knows me, they know I love a chat. So I know that some people want to read the book, but actually I'm quite enjoying hearing about your weekends and having people say, Happy Monday. Yes, I don't want it to be Moany Monday, though. It's not Moany Monday. I've had my moan. I've said what's wrong, what people are doing wrong, and we're going to move on because there's nothing we can do about it. We're going to do whatever we can do about it. And if we can stay at home and we can follow the guidelines, that's the most important thing. Okay? So let's not complain anymore about other people, but that's my moan for Monday. Let's do Magical Monday instead, or Marvelous Monday, or Mindful Monday, or Magnificent Monday, or what begins with M? Like a food that begins with M. I think we're going for Magical Monday. Hooray for Miss Lopez, way! And I've got a couple of people watching on Instagram. So I've got a nice little private school class of about 21 children. How nice is that for a Monday morning? I like it. But even if I had more, I'd still be happy. Or Mango Monday, Meatball Monday. Oh, I like Meatball Monday. Mashed Potato Monday, Macaroni Monday. Oh, some super ideas. Money Monday. Oh, I like that idea. Okay, so we're going to get started for this morning with our poem. Thank you for all you have made my morning. Marshmallow Monday, Majestic Monday. What super ideas. You've made my morning with all your super ideas and with how positive you're being this morning. Remember, it's really important for us to stay positive, to stay grateful for all the amazing things we have in our lives, because the fact that you're watching this means that you've got some sort of technology. How lucky are you? Okay, remember that some people don't have any form of technology. Okay, let's read. Oh, this is an interesting one. Let's read I Don't Want to Go Into School by Colin McNaughton. I don't want to go into school today, Mum. I don't feel like schoolwork today. Oh, don't make me go into school today, Mum. Oh, please let me stay at home and play. But you must go to school, my cherub, my lamb. If you don't, it will be a disaster. How would they manage without you, my sweets? After all, you are the headmaster. That was a good one. That's a funny one. I really like that one. I think that's one of my favourite poems now. After all, you are the headmaster. Okay, let's read one more and then we'll get on to James and the Giant Peach. Today I Feel by Gervais Finn. Today I feel as pleased as punch, fit as a fiddle, keen as a knife, hot as a griddle, bold as brass, bouncy as a ball, keen as mustard, high as a wall, bright as a button, light as a feather, fresh as a daisy, fragrant as heather, chirpy as cricket, sound as bell, sharp as a needle, deep as a well, high as a kite, strong as a bull, bubbly as bathwater, warm as a pool, clean as a new pin, shiny as money, quick as lightning, sweet as honey, cool as a cucumber, fast as a hare, right as rain, brave as a bear, lively as a monkey, busy as a bee, good as gold, free as the sea. I'm so happy, I'm just lost for words. I love it. And what was that? What would you say that book is full of? That book was full of what? As. It's full of, what do we call those, everyone? Somebody, come on. Remember, they're not quite. Similes, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not sure. Isabella, thank you. Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you, Fatima. Thank you, Tyler. Right, let's get on to James and the Giant Peach. So where were we on James and the Giant Peach? We were on chapter 27. Off we go. James Henry Trotter and his companions crouched close together on top of the peach as the night began closing in around them. Clouds like mountains towered high above their heads on all sides, mysterious, menacing, overwhelming. Gradually, it grew darker and darker, and then a pale three-quarter moon came up over the top of the clouds and cast an eerie light over the whole scene. I'm just going to have some of my breakfast. The giant peach swayed gently from side to side as it floated along, and the hundreds of silky white strings going upwards from its stem were beautiful in the moonlight. So also was the great flock of seagulls overhead. There was not a sound anywhere. Travelling upon the peach was not in the least like travelling in an aeroplane. The aeroplane comes clattering and roaring through the sky, and whatever might be lurking secretly up there in the great cloud mountains goes running for cover as its approach. That is why people who travel in aeroplanes never see anything. But the peach, the peach was a soft, stealthy traveller, making no noise at all as it floated along. And several times during that long, silent night, ride high up over the middle of the ocean in the moonlight, James and his friends saw things that no one had ever seen before. Once, as they drifted silently past a massive white cloud, they saw, on top of it, a group of strange, tall, wispy-looking things that were about twice the height of ordinary men. They were not easy to see at first, because they were almost as white as the cloud itself. But as the peach sailed closer, it became obvious that these things were actually living creatures, tall, wispy, wraith-like, shadowy, white creatures who looked as though they were made of a mixture of cotton wool and candy floss and thin white hairs. Ooh, said the ladybird. I don't like this at all. Shh, James whispered back. Don't let them hear you. They must be cloudmen. Cloudmen, they murmured, huddling closer together for comfort. Oh dear, oh dear. I'm glad I'm blind and can't see them, the earthworm said, or I would probably scream. I hope they don't come round and see us, Miss Spider stammered. Let me show you a picture of the peach lying while I have another spoon of breakfast. I've never heard of cloudmen either. The poor earthworm began to quiver all over with fright. What are they doing? The old green grasshopper whispered. I don't know, James answered softly. Let's watch and see. The cloudmen were all standing in a group, and they were doing something peculiar with their hands. First, they would reach out, all of them at once, and then grab a handful of clouds. Then they would roll these handful of clouds in their fingers until it turned into what looked like large white marbles. Then they would toss the marbles to one side and quickly grab more bits of clouds and start over again. It was all very silent and mysterious. The pile of marbles beside them kept growing larger and larger. Soon there was a truckload of them there at least. They must be absolutely mad, the centipede said. There's nothing to be afraid of here. Be quiet, you pest, the earthworm whispered. We shall all be eaten if they see us. But the cloud men were much too busy with what they were doing to have noticed the great peach floating silently up behind them. Then the watchers on the peach saw one of the cloud men raising his long, wispy arms above his head, and they heard him shouting, "All right, boys, that's enough. Get the shovels." And all the other cloud men immediately let out a strange, high-pitched whoop of joy and started jumping up and down and waving their arms in the air. Then they picked up enormous shovels and rushed over to a pile of marbles and began shoveling them as fast as they could over the side of the cloud into space. "Down they go," they chanted as they worked. "Down they go, hail and snow, freezes and sneezes, and noses will blow." "It's hailstones," whispered James excitedly. "They've been making hailstones, and now they are showering them down onto people in the world below." "Hailstones," whispered the centipede said. "That's ridiculous. This is summertime. You don't have hailstones in summertime." "They are practicing for winter," James told him. "I don't believe it," shouted the centipede, raising his voice. "Shh," the others whispered, and James said softly, "For heaven's sake, centipede, don't make so much noise." The centipede roared with laughter. "Those imbeciles couldn't hear anything," he cried. "They're deaf as doorknobs. You watch." And before anyone could stop him, he cut his front teeth to his mouth and was yelling at the cloudmen as loud as he could. "Idiots!" he yelled. "Nincompoops! Half-wits! Blunderheads! Arses! What on earth do you think you're doing out there?" The effect was immediate. The cloudmen jumped round as if they could be stung, as they had been stung by wasps, and when they saw the great golden peach floating past them, not 50 yards away in the sky, they gave a yelp of surprise and dropped their shovels to the ground. And there they stood, with the moonlight streaming down over them, absolutely motionless, like a group of tall, white, hairy statues, staring and staring at the gigantic fruit as it went sailing by. The passengers on the peach, all except the centipede, sat frozen with terror, looking back at the cloudmen and wondering what was going to happen next. Oh, Emily, I'm glad you're watching too. Oh my goodness, what has he done? "Now you've done it, you loathsome pest," whispered the earthworm to the centipede. "I'm not frightened of them," shouted the centipede, and to show everybody once again that he wasn't, he stood up to his full height and started dancing about and making insulting signs at the cloudmen with all 42 of his legs. This evidently infuriated the cloudmen beyond belief, and all at once they spun round and grabbed great handfuls of hailstones, and rushed to the edge of the cloud and started throwing them at the peach, shrieking with fury all the time. "Look out!" cried James. "Quick, lie down, lie flat on the deck." It was so lucky that they did. A large hailstone can hurt you as much as a rock or a lump of lead if it is thrown hard enough. And my goodness, how those cloudmen could throw. The hailstones came whizzing through the air like bullets from a machine gun, and James could hear them smashing against the sides of the peach and burying themselves in the peach flesh with horrible squelching noises. Plop, 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 and then ping, 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 as they bounced off the ladybird's shell because she couldn't lie as flat as the others. And then crack, as one of them hit the centipede right on the nose, and crack again as one of them hit him somewhere else. "Ow!" he cried. "Ow! Stop, stop, stop!" But the cloudmen had no intention of stopping. James could see them rushing about on the cloud like a lot of huge hairy ghosts, picking up hailstones from a pile, dashing to the edge of the cloud, hurling the hailstones at the peach, dashing them back again to get more, and then when the pile of stones was all gone, they simply grabbed a handful of clouds and made as many more as they could, and much bigger ones now, some of them as large as cannonballs. "Quickly," cried James, "down the tunnel, or we'll all be wiped out." There was a rush for the tunnel entrance, and half a minute later, everybody was safely downstairs inside the stone of the peach, trembling with fright and listening to the noise of the hailstones as they came crashing against the side of the peach. "I'm a wreck," groaned the centipede. "I'm wounded all over." "It serves you right," said the earthworm. "Would somebody kindly look and see if my shell is cracked," said the ladybird. Give us some light, shouted the old green grasshopper. I can't, wailed the glowworm. They've broken my bowl. Oh no! Then put in another one, said the centipede. Be quiet a moment, said James. Listen, I do believe they're not hitting us anymore. They all stopped talking and listened. Yes, the noise had ceased. The hailstones were no longer smashing against the peach. We've left them behind. The seagulls must have pulled us away from danger. Hooray, let's go up and see. Cautiously, with James going first, they all climbed up the tunnel. James poked his head out and looked all around. It's all cleared, he called. I can't see them anywhere. So what are we thinking about James's choice? What kind of choice was that? Not James, sorry, the centipede. Yeah, it's not good. That was a silly, really awful choice from the centipede. It was a really silly choice for sure. It was a terrible choice, yeah, definitely terrible choice. Why would he do that? And not even thinking about the others and if they were going to get hurt. Questionable, bad, terrible, yeah, a terrible, terrible choice. Chapter 28. One by one, the travellers came out again onto the top of the peach and gazed carefully around. The moon was still shining as brightly as ever, and there was still plenty of huge, shimmering cloud mountains on all sides, but there were no cloudmen in sight now. The peach is leaking, shouted the old green grasshopper, peering over the side. It's full of holes, and the juice is dripping out everywhere. That does it, cried the earthworm. If the peach is leaking, then we shall surely sink. Don't be an ass, the centipede told him. We're not in water now. Oh, look, shouted the ladybird. Look over there. Everybody swung round to look. In the distance and directly ahead of them, they now saw a most extraordinary sight. It was a kind of arch, a colossal, curvy-shaped thing that reached high up into the sky and came down again at both ends. The ends were resting upon a huge, flat cloud that was as big as a desert. Sorry, not dessert. I'm obviously hungry. Now, what in the world is that? Asked Jane. It's a bridge. It's an enormous hoop cut in half. It's a giant horseshoe standing upside down. Stop me if I'm wrong, murmured the centipede, going white in the face. But might those not be cloudmen climbing all over it? There was a dreadful silence. The peach floated closer and closer. They are cloudmen. There are hundreds of them, thousands, millions. I don't want to hear about it, shrieked the poor blind earthworm. I'd rather be on the end of a fish hook and used as bait than come up against those terrible creatures again. I'd rather be fried alive and eaten by a Mexican, wailed the old green grasshopper. Please keep quiet, whispered James. It's our only hope. They crouched very still on top of the peach, staring at the cloudmen. The whole surface of the cloud was literally swarming with them, and there were hundreds more up above, climbing about on that monstrous, curvy, crazy arch. But what is that thing? Whispered the ladybird. And what are they doing? I don't care what they're doing to it, the centipede said, scuttling over the tunnel entrance. I'm not staying up here. Goodbye. But the rest of them were too frightened or too hypnotized by the whole affair to make a move. Do you know what? James whispered. What? They said. What? That enormous arch. They seem to be painting it. They've got pots of paint and big brushes. You look. And he was quite right. The travellers were close enough now to see that this was exactly what the cloudmen were doing. What are they painting? Who thinks they know what they're painting? Yeah, they're painting a rainbow. Yes, a rainbow. They all had huge brushes in their hands and they were splashing the paint onto the great curvy arch in a frenzy of speed. So fast, in fact, that in a few minutes the whole of the arch became covered with the most glorious colours: reds, blues, green, yellows, and purples. It's a rainbow, everyone said at once. They are making a rainbow. Oh, isn't it beautiful? Just look at those colours, Centipede, they shouted. You must come up and see this. They were so enthralled by the beauty and brilliance of the rainbow that they forgot to keep their voices low any longer. The Centipede poked his head cautiously out of the tunnel. Well, 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 he said. I've always wondered how those things were made. But why all the ropes? What are they doing with the ropes? Good heavens, they are pushing it off the cloud, cried James. There it goes. Guys, just remember that any comments that you're making, whether it's on Instagram or YouTube, that you are being kind, okay? Morning, Gracie. Yes, Charlotte and Emily, a rainbow. Well, 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 he said, I've always wondered how those things were made. But why all the ropes? What are they doing with all those ropes? Good heavens, they are pushing it off the cloud, cried James. There it goes. They are lowering it down to the earth with ropes. And I'll tell you something else, the Centipede said. If I'm not greatly mistaken, we ourselves are going to bump right into it. Bless my soul, he's right, the old green grasshopper explained. The rainbow was now dangling in the air below the cloud. The peach was also just below the level of the cloud, and it was heading directly towards the rainbow, travelling rather fast. We are lost, Miss Spider cried, wriggling her feet again. The end has come. I can't stand it, wailed the Earthworm. Tell me what's happening. We're going to miss it, shouted the Ladybird. No, we're not. Yes, we are. Yes, yes, no. Oh, my heavens. Hold on, everybody, James called out, and suddenly there was a tremendous thud as the peach went crashing into the top of the rainbow. Oh no. Who is David? David. Not sure who that is. Let's see what happens. This was followed by an awful splintering noise as the enormous rainbow snapped right across the middle and became two separate pieces. The next thing that happened was extremely unfortunate. The ropes, they destroyed the rainbow. The ropes that the cloud men had been using for lowering the rainbow got tangled up with the silk strings that went up from the peach to the seagulls. The peach was trapped. Panic and pandemonium broke out among the travellers, and James Henry Trotter, glancing up quickly, saw the faces of 1,000 furious cloudmen peering down at him over the edge of the cloud. The faces had almost no shape at all because of the long white hairs that covered them. There were no noses, no mouth, no ears, no chins. Only the eyes were visible in each face. Two small black eyes glinting malevolently through the hairs. I've never read that word before. Then came the most frightening thing of all. One cloudman, a huge hairy creature who must have been 14 feet tall at least, suddenly stood up and made a tremendous leap off the side of the cloud, trying to get one of the silk string above the peach. James and his friends saw him go flying through the air before them, his arms outstretched in front of him, reaching for the nearest string, and they saw him grab it and cling to it, and with his hands and legs, then very slowly, hand over hand, he began to come down the string. Oh my goodness! What is going on? Mercy, help, save us, cried the Ladybird. He's coming down to eat us, wailed the old green grasshopper. Jump overboard! Then eat the earthworm first, shouted the Centipede. It's no good eating me. I'm full of bones like a kipper. Centipede yelled. Centipede, yelled James. Quickly, bite through the string, the one he's coming down on. The Centipede rushed over to the stem of the peach and took the silk string in his teeth and bit through it. With one snap of his jaws, immediately, far above them, a single seagull was seen to come away from the rest of the flock and go flying with a long string trailing from its neck, and clinging desperately to the end of the string, shouting and cursing with fury, was a huge hairy cloud man. Up and up he went, swinging across the moonlight sky, and James Henry Trotter, watching him with delight, said, "My goodness, he must weigh almost nothing at all for one seagull to be able to pull him up like that. He must be all hair and air." The rest of the cloudmen were so flabbergasted at seeing one of their company carried away in this manner that they let go of the ropes they were holding and then, of course, went down the rainbow, both halves of it together, tumbling towards the earth below. They freed the Peach, which at once began sailing away from the terrible cloud. But the travellers were not in the clear yet. The infuriated cloudmen jumped up and ran after them along the cloud, pelting them mercilessly with all sorts of hard and horrible objects. Oh no. Empty paint buckets of hard and horrible, step ladders, stools, saucepans, frying pans, rotten eggs, dead rats, bottles of hair oil, anything those brutes could lay their hands on came raining down upon the Peach. One cloudman, taking very careful aim, tipped a gallon of thick purple paint over the edge of the cloud, right onto the centipede himself. The centipede screamed with anger. "My legs," he cried. "They are all sticking together. I can't walk, and my eyelids won't open. I can't see, and my boots are ruined." But for that moment, everyone was far too busy dodging the things that the cloudmen were throwing to pay any attention to the centipede. "The paint is drying," he moaned. "It's going hard. I can't move my legs. I can't move anything." "You can still move your mouth," the earthworm said, "and that is a great pity." "James," bawled the centipede, "please help me. Wash off the paint. Scrape it off. Anything." We've got one more chapter. I'm just going to have a look at the comments. Everyone's very excited. Dead rats. Oh, yeah, it's disgusting. 29. It seemed like a long time before the seagulls were able to pull the Peach away from that horrible rainbow cloud, but they managed it at last. And then everybody gathered around the wretched centipede and began arguing about the best way to get the paint off his body. He really did look a sight. He was purple all over, and now that the paint was beginning to dry and harden, he was forced to sit very stiff and upright, as though he were seized in cement, and all 42 legs were sticking out straight in front of him like rods. He tried to say something, but his lips wouldn't move. Oh no. All he could do now was to make gurgling noises in his throat. The old green grasshopper reached out and touched him carefully on the stomach. "But how could it possibly have dried so quickly?" he asked. "It's rainbow paint," James answered. "Rainbow paint dries very quickly and very hard." "I detest," Miss Spider announced. "It frightens me. I detest paint. It reminds me of Aunt Spiker, that late Aunt Spiker, I mean, because the last time she painted her kitchen ceiling, my poor darling grandmother stepped into it by mistake when it was still wet, and there she stuck, and all through the night we could hear her calling to us, 'Help, help, help,' and it was heartbreaking to listen to her. But what could we do? Not a thing until the next day when the paint had dried, and then, of course, we all rushed over to her and calmed her down and gave her some food. Believe it or not, she lived for 6 months like that, upside down, up on the ceiling, with her legs stuck permanently into the paint. She really did. We fed her every day. We brought her fresh flies straight from the web. But then, on the 26th of April last, Aunt Sponge, the late Aunt Sponge, happened to glance up at the ceiling and she spotted her. "A spider!" she cried. "A disgusting spider! Quick, fetch me the mop with the long handle." And then, oh, it was awful. I can't bear to think of it. Miss Spider wiped away a tear and looked sadly at the centipede. "You poor thing," she murmured. "I do feel sorry for you." "It'll never come off," said the earthworm brightly. "Our centipede will never move again. He will turn into a statue, and we shall be able to put him in the middle of the lawn with a bird bath on top of his head." "We could try peeling him like a banana," the old green grasshopper suggested. "Or rubbing him with sandpaper," the ladybird said. "Now, if he stuck out his tongue," the earthworm said, smiling a little for perhaps the first time in his life, If he stuck it out really far, then we could all catch hold of it and start pulling. And if we pulled half enough, we could turn him inside out and he would have a new skin. There was a pause while the others considered this interesting proposal. I think, James said slowly, I think the best thing to do, then he stopped, was that he asked quickly, I heard a voice. I heard someone shouting. And that is chapter 30. We're going to stop now. Who's shouting? I wonder whose voice is that? And that's chapter 30, and we've got, we haven't got much left. 39. Okay, so there's 9 more chapters. So probably, I reckon we could do that in two days if we read. What did you think? What did you think? I've still got most of you here. So what did you think of those chapters? That was interesting, wasn't it? So silly choice from the centipede, and poor, but then now I think he is paying the price for his silly choice because he is now covered in paint. But I wonder who's shouting. Who do we think is shouting? What are we thinking? Let me have a little look at what our task could be for today. Oh, I know. If you would like a task for today, you can use some super adjectives, similes, metaphors to describe the cloud men. Okay? If you'd like an activity for today, that could be your activity for today. It might be Aunt Spiker and Aunt Sponge. That's true. That could be the shouting. Yeah. They would definitely not be in this situation if the centipede had shouted in the first place. That's true. No, I don't know who it is either, Charlotte. Let's see. Let's read. When we read tomorrow, we'll find out. Okay? Right, so I am glad that we enjoyed those. Those were some good chapters. I love the suspense in it. I love the way they built it up. I also really enjoyed the there was loads of drama, wasn't there? Loads of stuff happening, and the way they built it up and made me, I felt like I had to read it some bits quicker than others, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Oh my gosh, it's 20 to 12. Have a lovely rest of the day, and I will see you tomorrow again at 11 o'clock for our story time. Lots of love, lots of positive energy. Enjoy the rest of your day. Well, that time went very quickly. We enjoyed that. Thank you so much, guys. Have a lovely rest of the day. Like and subscribe. I've never said that before. See you tomorrow, superstars.